Happy Independence Day, my badass boys and badass babes. As always, it's your favorite bad girl of Black Hills, Virgo the Vixen. Hit those like, subscribe buttons wherever they're at. Make me happy, make me famous. Anyways, today we are going over part 2 of our 2-part safety video. Today we are going to be looking at the dangers of the grill. Now, before I start, I just want to say, again, I'm going to steal a line from The Simpsons. Celebrate the independence of your country by blowing up a small portion of it. That's what Independence Day is about for most of us. But, as I mentioned in my previous video, there are some hidden dangers. Today, we are going to be focusing on the dangers of the grill. Now, let's go over some of the basic ones, kind of the big one that we already know about. Grills can be dangerous, especially with fire. Fire, bad. Fire is not a good thing, all right? It's not our friend, except for when it's cooking our food. Let me tell you what I mean, okay? Now, I'm going to give you this story from my own childhood and let you decide. I'll just let you decide, okay, if it's good or bad. Anyways, it was an old, this is early 1980s. Yeah, I've already traumatized some of you, but anyways, let your mind go back to that era. There wasn't gas grills, okay? We had the charcoal grills. So we have a charcoal grill, and what you would do is you would add the charcoal, you would add the lighter, strike the match, stand back, poof, there you go. You got your charcoal, got everything going. All right, keep that in mind. So, my father, he comes out, with beer in his hand, goes out there with his beer in his hand. He is still holding the beer in his hand while doing this. Puts the charcoal into the grill. Sprays the lighter. All right. Puts the grill top off. Now I'm going to stop right there in the story. All right. Because I am watching this. All right. Now you have to understand something. I've watched my father start the grill, and I love seeing that little fire go up. Okay. And you have to keep in mind, I'm about 5 years old when this is happening. 5, maybe 6, depending on the year. Anyways, and I'm, enthralled by seeing the flames go up. And on this particular day, while my father's still holding his beer, puts in charcoal, sprays the lighter, puts the, kind of like the little grill portion on top. All right. Puts his beer down, and then is going to start the match. But before he could strike the match, my mother calls him into the house for whatever reason I can't remember. So he puts down, the matches, picks up the beer. God forbid, you can't travel without that. Goes inside. Now, I'm at that 5, 6-year-old age, and I'm curious. So, what do? I figured if we add more lighter fluid, we can get a bigger, flame. So, I take the lighter fluid. I don't, squeeze lightly. I squeeze as hard as my little hands could, and I go around a few times. I think I counted about 6 times, squirting a lot of lighter fluid. Some of you are already getting ahead of me. Don't do that. Just let me tell the story. All right. So I put the lighter fluid back where I found it, and I, step away because I want to see what happens. So my father puts down the beer, picks up the matches, strikes it, tosses it into the grill. All of a sudden, there is a wall of fire that just comes up and takes out his eyebrows. I am not joking. My father is there just with this awe look of what the hell happened to me. And all of a sudden, he is browless. And he is screaming and crying at the oh my God, my mother comes out. She wants to know what's going on. And have you ever laughed so hard? You want to yell at somebody for doing something so stupid, but you can't because you're laughing so hard. My mother was kind of peeing herself because she was laughing so hard. That wasn't the most funniest part of this story. My mother takes my father in, cleans him up, and takes her eyebrow pencils to try to draw on some form of eyebrows before our guests get there for the barbecue. That night, I shut my mouth. I was well behaved. I didn't say a damn thing. And after that day, as a little side note, my father never drank why grilling again. He was under the impression he was drunk, he had too much lighter fluid, and that's what happened. Now, for the record, did I tell him this story on his deathbed when no one was around? You should have saw the look on his face of just sheer anger. And I always say, well, no, that wasn't that anger. He was just proud of me for what I did. But anyways, that's another story. So, you would think that would be the only dangers of the grill. No. Fire is not the only danger. Here is the danger. And before I get to that part, I have to give a little disclosure. Ladies, this is going to be a kind of a little girl talk here. And for guys, do not rub it into your spouse's face and or girlfriend's face about what I'm about to say here. So, now that we got the disclaimers out of the way, here is the hidden problem with the grills. The men who operate them. All right? Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Well, it could go back to the fire situation, which is possible, but I'm not talking about that. Ladies, if you ever want to see your man act like a teenage high school girl, touch his grill. I'm not kidding you. Touch his grill. Move stuff around on his grill. And you will see him act like a high school teenage girl. That grill is sacred. Ladies, a man's grill is a sacred place. You do not touch it. You do not go near it without his permission. And if you don't believe me, ask the guys who are watching this video. All right, men have a place in their grill. They know where the vegetables go. They know which meats. Not any meat can touch his grill. Only certain meats can touch his grill. He knows which meats will touch his grill. All right, for the vast majority of men, anything that has the word tofu or impossible meat, that soy-based plant shit, it ain't touching that. If you touch his grill and he ain't a vegan or vegetarian or whatever, that is blasphemy, and I guarantee you that is grounds for divorce in his mind. So, guys will map out on their grill what goes where. Now, I wish they had that same ability to map out stuff and their focus to put everything there in certain, how can we say, late night activities, but I digress. I don't want to get too far away from the problem. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is still not an issue. This is not a danger. Here's the problem, ladies. When your husband is grilling, all right, every man has been given a handbook at birth, whether they know it or not. And when it comes to the chapter of grilling, it clearly states, for every guy knows, you do not touch another man's grill. You do not do these things. You respect the man whose grill it is. You do not touch it. You do not go near it unless you are going to talk to him. You do not put anything on there that he does not want. Every man knows this. Every man follows the rules. Every man knows that you violate the rules, you're going to get an ass whooping. They understand this. They all know it. And this is where the danger comes in. And I want you to think logically. When you have a bunch of men that have been drinking and been talking around a grill, now you're starting to see the hidden danger here. Ladies, I want to point you to a previous video I did when men get together, because in a group of men of 3 to 5, whatever the group number is, there's always an alpha leader, the main person of the grill, the beta males who are the followers, and then the alpha idiot. And again, this is where the danger comes in with the alpha idiot of the group. Because after a lot of drinking, the alpha idiot starts to sound really good. Now, you have to keep in mind, a man's grill is sacred to him. They will spend a lot of money on one or multiple grills. I know of a guy who has a grill just for vegetables. I have a grill for just hamburgers, hot dogs. That's how much dedication they put into it. All right. Now, let's go into detail more about this hidden danger about guys getting around the grill. Guys drinking around the grill. All right. Now, of course, is there the danger of the fire? Yes. But I'm going to illustrate the dangers with this next story that, again, happened to my father, his brother, a couple of his friends, and the alpha idiot of their little ragtag group. All right. So, 4th of July. This is not the same 4th of July where my father accidentally lost his eyebrows, okay? It's a different one. I'm a teenage girl at this point, my 13, 14, I believe. Anyways, here's my father's friends, my father's brother. They're talking around the grill. They're drinking. And what do I mean by drinking? I mean there is a lot of empty beer cans around the grill. Now, normally this is the part where I would disclaim something, say something about bad's about ready to happen. Something already bad has happened at this point. They were talking about how to cover it up. Okay, what has happened that they are conspiring to cover up, you ask? Well, anyways, I don't know how to put it. I think I'll just spill out the beans, lay out the tea, and I'll let you decide just how bad the scenario was. All right, they decided it was time for a beer run. You have to understand something in mind. There is no such thing as the word as designated driver with my family, okay? Designated driver doesn't have any meaning with my family. So, they decided they were low on beer. There was a beer store not too far away. Let's go to the liquor store. Let's get some more beer. Okay. My father took, because his vehicle was in the shop, he took my mother's car. Yeah, you can see where this is going real fast. Now, to be fair, he didn't know how to drive my mother's car. He liked to drive his pickup, which, there's a little difference between driving a car versus a pickup. You would think, no, you wouldn't think that, but there's just a little difference. So my father decides, hey, a vehicle is a vehicle. I'm just going to drive it. And when he got to the liquor store, you know those poles? Sometimes they have like those cement poles or barriers in front of the liquor store. Well, my father decided to use that as a way to stop the car. Yeah, you heard me. Those little barricades, bam, my father hits one. He didn't go very fast, but enough to do some damage to the front of the car. They thought, it's all right, we'll be fine. They load up, beer, come home. I would like to tell you they made it home without any incident. Nope, no. Okay, this is what happened. They weren't paying attention. All of a sudden, they kind of, how can I say this politely, veered off and took out a series of 3 mailboxes on their way home. Now, I would like to stop and say, that's the end of the story. No. When they get home, one of the mailboxes, for some odd reason, was stuck up against let me just be accurate. Somehow they hit the mailbox so hard it flew and went into the windshield. All right, so let's review. We have a brand new mailbox, whether we like it or not, and we know whose mailbox is because their name is on it. There is damage to the front of the car. Now you're starting to see the hidden danger of the grill. When men get together, when men start drinking together, stupid things happen. Now they're trying to find a way to cover this up. They're trying to figure out some sort of logical reason or some way to cover this up. And this is, I am not kidding you. This is how they answer the quote-unquote cover-up. They themselves call the police to report the car has been stolen. Do you know how stupid you have to be? I think the alpha idiot came up with this story. First of all, it's bad enough. If he would have just went to my mom and manned up and confessed, I think he would have been in a whole lot of less trouble, at least legally, if he would have just done that. But instead, they decided to, how can I put this? Relocate the car to a ditch. Call the police, say the vehicle was stolen. My father goes into my mom and says, oh my God, honey, someone stole the car. She freaks out. They call the cops. There is a problem. All right. And even back in the days when security cameras weren't everywhere, most liquor stores had a security camera because that was a favorite place for for people to rob them, whether it be money, alcohol, whatever. Here's the problem. The security cam footage from the liquor store showed my father driving into the concrete barrier. Showed him, his brother, a couple of his stupid friends, and the alpha idiot getting out. When they got out, there were beer cans that fell out with them. So, right there, he got busted for, drunk driving, falsifying a police report. I can't remember all the charges, but needless to say, my father spent a couple of years, a little more than a year in jail on this one. But anyways, so let's review the hidden dangers of the grill. Ladies, don't touch the grill. First of all, that's a man's secret territory. Every guy knows it. Now you know it. But in the end, here's the danger of the grill. Drinking around the grill can be dangerous for a couple things. Number one, fire is a very bad thing, as my father has illustrated, with no eyebrows, and then having to answer to his guests why he has eyebrow liner and pencil liner where his eyebrows was. That alone, it was well worth it that night. But that's one of the dangers. The other danger is what men do when they're around the grill drinking and talking. So my badass boys, my badass babes, hopefully you will have a fun and safe 4th of July. But the main factor is, whatever you do, do it safe, and do not take the advice of experts. And what do I mean by experts? Are the ones who are missing 1 to 3 digits on their fingers and or both hands because they know how to work fireworks. So my badass boys and badass babes, hopefully these safety videos have served you well. So my question is, who's your vixen, and bye-bye.